Today I have come to Heddon Street in London, which is a very cool private little road, pedestrianised, with lots of different restaurants in there. And the reason why I've come here is to go to the Heddon Street Kitchen, which is this restaurant behind me here. And this restaurant's owned by Gordon Ramsay. It's one in his many restaurants in his whole empire. And the whole ethos in this restaurant is to offer high quality food, so similar to the standard that he normally offers, but at affordable prices. So this is eating for the masses. So the idea is you can come here day or night, and it's a cool place to hang out. It is a cool vibe. This restaurant has been open for about 11 years, so it's one of his long-standing ones. And Gordon Ramsay his restaurants are struggling a little bit at the moment. It was recently published that he lost over £13 million for his restaurant businesses over the last 12 months. So let's go inside and check it out, because this is a very cool part of London. If you've never been down Heddon Street, it's just off Regent Street. I would definitely recommend it. Really quiet, nice cool vibe here. So different to what you get on Regent Street and Oxford Street, Piccadilly Circus, which are all a stone's throw from here. So let's head inside and see what Heddon Street Restaurant is all about. Okay, so here we are in Heddon Street Kitchen. And the reason why it's called Heddon Street Kitchen is because we're on Heddon Street, so not very imaginative. It's actually a similar concept to the Bread Street Kitchen that Gordon Ramsay operates, but obviously he's changed the name up, called the Heddon Street Kitchen. Slightly different to that, because the Bread Street Kitchen is a bit more pizza based. The concept here is that it's good quality dining available all day to everybody. So rather than being a high-end restaurant, which Gordon Ramsay is famous for, he's got a 3-star Michelin restaurant in London, as well as multiple other Michelin star restaurants. This is a bit more for the masses. So we've got 2 different menus here. Now this is the a la carte menu. It's relatively expensive. So the starters range between £13.50 and £19. That's quite expensive for a starter. And the main courses, they go up to £44 if you want a dry aged ribeye steak. So that's pretty pricey for lunch. So if I was having one of those starters and that main with some sides and a dessert, we're talking probably around about £100 just for lunch. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go for the set menu. And like most good restaurants around the world, but particularly in London, they offer a lower priced set menu at lunchtime. And the reason for that is obviously they've got all these fixed costs. So they're having to pay for the rent and the lighting and all the staff and everything that's gone on in this restaurant. And if they were charging £100 for lunch, nobody would come in. So they have to get people in just to get some cash in the till, cover some money, and basically get some bums on seats. So the set menu, you've got 2 options. You can have 2 courses for £27 or 3 courses for £33. And there are 3 choices for starter, 4 for main and 3 for dessert. So I've decided, as it's lunchtime, to skip the starters. I didn't really like the look of them anyway. We had cod bites with curry sauce, don't fancy that. Butternut squash soup, not really. And ham hock terrine. So I'm going to skip the starters and just go straight for the mains. So I'm going, because it's near to Christmas, this is a seasonal set menu. So it's got a little bit of a Christmas twist to it. So I'm going to go for the main course for the turkey burger, red cabbage slaw, pigs in blankets and roast potatoes. So it's sort of like a turkey burger Christmas dinner. And the cameraman is going for the grilled minute steak. Now interestingly, some of these restaurants charge extra for steak on the set menu. This one doesn't. So Gordon Ramsay isn't charging extra, so it's included, which is great. And then for dessert, we're going to go for sticky toffee pudding and the Christmas pudding with brandy custard and vanilla ice cream. Now, just talking about Gordon Ramsay, he's got a multitude of different restaurants. He's obviously a very successful restaurateur, businessman, and a TV celebrity. Now, interestingly, over the last few years, he grew his portfolio to over 60 restaurants worldwide. So he applies his name to variety of different things, some high end, some lower end. Now, in the last few years, it's reported that 23 of those restaurants have closed. And in 2025, the end of October 25, his account showed that he made a loss of over £13 million on his restaurant business. That's on top of the £4 million loss that he made the previous year and £1 million the year before. So the restaurant's not going so well. But on the TV side, he's doing fantastically well. He's reported a profit of £7 million, including the Burger King advert that I recently talked about. I went along and had his Wagyu burger, which was very expensive for Burger King, £11. So he's doing well TV-wise. Restaurants, a bit of a mixed story. So let's see what this lunch is like and whether or not the big losses that Gordon's making is starting to feed through into the food, or whether the food is still really good quality. Okay, so the food has now arrived, and this is my Christmas burger. And it comes with a side of roast potatoes. There's only 2 roast potatoes, so it seems a bit stingy, but it's enough food. I think I've said before, on these set menus, you don't have to order extra sides, particularly, well, we'll go on to talk about the steak in a minute, but that comes with a side of chips. But here is my turkey burger, and as you can see, it looks quite fancy. They put a nice stick through the top of it, and I've got a pigs in blanket sausage on the top. So basically, Christmas tradition in the UK, sausages wrapped in bacon are called pigs in blankets. And that's really the only time of the year that you have it. So I've got one of those on the top. Start off, I'll have a bite of that. That's really nice. They've done that really well because they've wrapped the bacon really tightly around it before they've cooked it. So the bacon has sort of formed a crispy shell around the sausage. So it's nice, gives it a crispy outer sort of crunch. And then inside we've got a really tasty pork sausage. Very lean, really nice. Let me just wipe that grease off my fingers. Let's have a look at this burger. So we've got a nice soft brioche type bun. And then inside here, we've got the turkey, which has been sliced. Lovely amounts of cranberry on here, really good. Serving 2 lots of turkey, which is great. And then under that, 3 lots of turkey. Then under that, I've got a coleslaw dressing. So pretty full, it's got lots of meat in it. Let's see what it tastes like. Have to squish it down a little bit. Well, I don't know where to start. Well, firstly, the turkey's really lean, so it's been sliced quite thinly. Because there's 3 layers of it, it gives you a good amount of turkey. So that's the hero of the dish. That's what comes through first and foremost, the turkey crunch. There's a thin layer of coleslaw, which does give it a little bit of extra salady type crunch. And that layer of cranberry sauce on the top really lifts it, gives it a lovely sweetness. So that's a really good combination. Does it taste like Christmas dinner? Not really. It tastes more like a turkey sandwich with cranberry in it and some coleslaw at the bottom. But it is very tasty. I'm having a little bit of that. Now, that's a really good burger. The bun, as you can see, is collapsed a little bit. It's very, very soft. So the bread doesn't really play a big part in it, but it gives you something to hold on to. Let me try this roast potato that's come with it. As I said, I've only got 2 roast potatoes. It's a bit odd, because normally you have roast potatoes with gravy. You don't tend to eat them like an apple. And I don't have anything else to have it with. I can put it on the plate with a knife and fork. I'm going to bite it. It's actually really nice. It's been quite heavily salted before it's been cooked. So the thing with roast potatoes, you tend to parboil them. So you boil them a little bit on the stove first, just to get them a little bit softer. Then you put them in the oven. Obviously, they get coated in oil or fat, and this has had a good layer of salt on it as well. But that is really tasty, actually. Really like that. Right, the cameraman has ordered the minute steak. So let me have a quick switch over. Now, the minute steak comes with some chips. Let's try these fries. Okay. They're hot, they're crispy. They're okay. They're a bit hollow. They're all right. Standard fries, basically. A little bit more upmarket than McDonald's. A bit crispier and a bit more salty than McDonald's. Right, let's have a look at this minute steak. So, as with all minute steaks, it's very thin, very nice. Comes with a little bit of gravy on the side. I'll just pour a bit of that. So it's actually a peppercorn sauce. So let's take a little piece of this steak. So even though it's thin, it is still pink inside, so that's quite nicely done. So I'd say that's as close to a medium rare as you're going to get with a minute steak, with a little bit of the peppercorn sauce. That's nice. That's really nicely done, very well cooked. It's nicely seasoned, got some peppers and a little bit of chives on the top, peppercorn sauce. So yeah, I think this is a great start for the set menu at Heddon Street Kitchen. So I think Gordon's done quite a good job. He hasn't pulled back in terms of the ingredients. The portions aren't massive, so if you look at the food that we've got here, it's not a huge amount, but it is a set menu and it is in quite an expensive restaurant, so I guess you're going to get a relatively limited amount of food. But let me finish the rest of I'm not going to finish this because this is the cameraman's. Let me finish the rest of my festive burger and roast potatoes, and I'll see you for the desserts. Right, the desserts have now arrived, and I've got sticky toffee pudding, which is a classic British dish. You've never had it. It's basically made with some dates. It's got obviously a lot of toffee in it. It's quite a heartwarming comfort food, and it comes in a nice toffee sauce, and it's got vanilla ice cream on the top. So it looks very light in terms of, sometimes it can be a bit heavy. I get a good bit of the toffee sauce, a little bit of ice cream on there. That's really nice. So it's really light. The actual sponge itself is just sort of melts in your mouth, just falls away, which is what you want, because if it's too heavy and dense, then it becomes a really heavy dish. It's really nice. There's a load of toffee sauce on it, on the top, but also it's sitting in toffee sauce, so you can have extra. And then the vanilla ice cream just gives it that element, sort of lightness and sweetness that sort of complements against the heavy, sticky toffee. It's really tasty. It's really filling as well, actually. If I eat all of that, I'm going to be really stuffed. So I'll just hold off for a second, because the cameraman has gone for big Christmas pudding. So this comes with vanilla ice cream, and let me just check on the menu so I'll get it right. Also comes with brandy custard. So this custard around the outside, which is runny, is brandy infused. And then we've got a little stick on the top. Let me just put that to one side. So let's have a look at this Christmas pudding. Now this is a lot heavier and denser. Christmas pudding is basically like a fruit cake, but soaked in brandy usually, so it sort of becomes quite dense and sticky. We'll have some of this brandy custard. Let's see what it's like. Now that's the taste of Christmas. That's what you traditionally would associate with Christmas, because it's got a lot of brandy in it, so you get that sort of brandy overtone. Quite heavy and dense, and loads of raisins and other bits of fruit in there. This brandy custard, it's cold. It's basically like a very thin custard, and yeah, you get the aftertaste of brandy. So as after you've had it, you get that sort of kick of brandy. It's nice, very, very Christmassy. Out of the two of them, I prefer the sticky toffee pudding, but this is just up your street if you like Christmas pudding and you want to celebrate in slightly more upmarket, slightly different way. So I'm going to finish the rest of my sticky toffee pudding, and I'll see you at the end for the wrap up. Okay, so I've now finished my set menu at Gordon Ramsay Heddon Street Kitchen. So what's my overall assessment? Well, firstly, I have to say it's a very cool place in here. This has got a really nice vibe to it. Playing good music. It's built a little bit like a nightclub, so it's quite dark in terms of the walls, and the lighting is sort of subdued. The way the seats are set out, it's just quite a cool, trendy place to hang out. Really quite busy. It's Friday lunchtime at the moment. Got really busy. A lot of nice hubbub, lots of people chatting, just about the right level of the music and the chat. So it feels like a great place to hang out and have lunch. So I definitely recommend coming here as an experience. And Heddon Street itself actually is a really nice little road, just off Regent Street, which is one of the shopping streets right next to Oxford Street, Oxford Circus, Piccadilly Circus, tube stations. But this is almost like a little private street, and it's just got lots of different restaurants on it, quite trendy, really nice to come down here. So if you're in London, check out Heddon Street. It's quite a good place to come. It's all about the Heddon Street Kitchen. What was it like? Well, we went for a set menu because the main menu was very expensive, and if I was reviewing that, I think I'd probably have a bit of a negative slant on it. But the set menu is quite a good deal, so it's £27 for 2 courses, which is basically what I went for. Now, I didn't fancy any of the starters, and my tip on this is that if you've got a sweet tooth, if you like a dessert, I would always go main and dessert, because the desserts are usually quite filling. We'll come on to talk about that in a second. So I ordered, because it's almost Christmas time, they had a festive burger. So you had a turkey burger with cranberry in there, some nice coleslaw. on a really nice bun, and it had a pig's in blanket sausage on the top, which was very tasty. So overall, it was a good burger. It was decent. I wouldn't normally have a turkey burger. In fact, they don't really do turkey burgers anywhere. I don't think I've seen one before. So it was okay. It wasn't quite as substantial as a beef burger or a chicken burger. It was sliced turkey, so it was a bit thinner. The bun was a bit soft, but overall, it was a decent burger. Came with 2 roast potatoes, which was a bit weird. The roast potatoes are quite nice to bite, but having eaten all of them, they were a bit dry. They needed a bit of gravy or something, so I'm not quite sure that worked as a side, but it was a bit of fun. It sort of gave me the Christmas flavour. Now, the cameraman had a minute steak, which was really well cooked, because it's very thin, and it's hard to get it to be pink inside, but they've done a really good job. It was nice and pink, so excellent. Came with some chips, which were decent as well. They were fries rather than chips, but that's fine. And then, so overall, I think the steak and chips was better than my turkey burger. I think that probably outscored my turkey burger. Now, for the desserts, we went for sticky toffee pudding, which came with a nice blob of ice cream on the top and a load of toffee sauce. Now, that was really filling. So this is what I was saying, that you need to watch out. If you have a starter, and main course and the dessert here for the 3 courses, you're going to be too full. It's going to be too much food, because I was struggling to get through my sticky toffee pudding, even though it was absolutely delicious. The Christmas pudding that came with the brandy custard, with a bit of blob of ice cream on the top, that was really nice as well, if you like Christmas pudding. It's not my favourite. I find it a bit heavy. I'm not really a big fan of brandy, so it was okay if you like that sort of thing. It wasn't to my taste, but it was a good quality, and it looked good. The way they'd served it, it was really quite upmarket. So I think the food here is pretty good. I think the set menu offers reasonable price. It's a reasonable deal. Now, in terms of the price and the menu, something quite fun here. You can actually pay using a QR code. So I'm going to do that now. So if I scan this QR code, it should take me through to the website and tell me exactly how much the bill is. So it's saying getting your table. I'm on table 17. So here we go. Here is the bill. Oh, it's gone off. So let me just. So here is the bill. So it's 2 courses at the set menu price of £27, which is £54. In addition to that, a 15% service charge, which is £8.10. And then on top of that, there's a Great Ormond Street Hospital donation of £1 that's automatically included. Now, ordinarily, I'm not a big fan of places that force you to donate to charity. I give things to charity. I like to make my own decisions. I don't really like to get forced into it or embarrassed into it. You sort of feel shamed into doing it because you have to say, no, I don't want to. But actually, the Great Ormond Street Hospital is a hospital in London for kids, usually kids that are really very unwell. So I don't mind that on this one occasion. I'm happy for £1 to go to Great Ormond Street, because I can't really say no, that it's a great cause. So in total, we're looking at £63.10 for this meal. So what's my overall assessment of that? Well, that's coming in at basically £31.50 per person, which, bearing in mind, I've only had water, the tap water. They come in quite a nice bottle, actually. You get the bottle with Heddon Street written on it, so quite nice. And they kept filling that up. There's no questions asked in terms of the tap water. Given the fact that I've only had water, £32 for lunch is quite expensive. The quality of the food was good. It was nice. There was a reasonable amount of it. Was it worth £32? Yeah, I've had better set menus in London that have been cheaper. You can get them for £20, £21, £25. So £27 plus service charge. It's at the upper end of, I think, what they should be charging. So my overall score for today, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10, which I think it was good quality food. It's quite expensive. It's a nice vibe in here. I would come back to this restaurant for the vibe, for the atmosphere. The food, quite expensive. It was all right. I wouldn't probably come back and have that set menu again. I think there's other set menus that you could have in London that offer better value. But it was good, it was decent. If you've never been down Heddon Street, I would check it out. Come in and just have a starter, see how you get on. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video all the way through to the end. If you've liked what I've said, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I'll see you again on the next video.